The Ministry of Youth Development, Sports, Culture and the Arts present Youth Week 2018. Empowering our youth, shaping our community, protecting our future. The week of activities kicks off on Friday, November 9th with the Minister's Address from 8 p.m. Saturday, 10th November, Health Fair, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Cuthbert Peters Park, War, and the Fitness Revolution, 3 p.m. Concord Junction. Sunday, 11th November, it's the Peace Concert, Grenville Brush Terminal. On Tuesday, 13th November, ministers meet with the youth at Her Majesty's Prison. Thursday, 15th November, from 5 p.m., it's the Imani Graduation, Youth Awards and Gala. And on Friday, 16th through the weekend, it's the National Youth Service Weekend. Every parish get involved. And on Saturday, 17th November, it's Youth Expo, Explosion Fashion and Cultural Day, 2 p.m. on Tel at Hero Square, Victoria in St. Mark. So remember, Youth Week 2018, November 9th to the 17th. Stay up to date with all that's happening with the new National Party, NNP. Send us a message via text or WhatsApp on 405-8683 with your name, email, and constituency. Stay in the know with NNP. Get updated.
The following is an address to the nation by Honorable Kate Lewis, Minister with Responsibility for Youth, in observance of Youth Week 2018, celebrated under the theme, Empowering Our Youth, Shaping Our Community, Protecting Our Future.
Fellow Grenadians, it is my honor and privilege to address the youth of Grenada, Carriacou and Petite Martinique, as well as the general citizenry on the commencement of Youth Week 2018, celebrated under the theme, Empowering Our Youth, Shaping Our Community, Protecting Our Future. The theme for this year's celebration calls upon all stakeholders in youth development to address youth development challenges in a holistic manner, especially at a community level. As a ministry, we are aware that we need to collectively implement strategies to improve the lives of our young people by concentrating on several priority issues such as youth empowerment and employment, skills and entrepreneurship development. While we cannot ignore the fact that there are many contemporary issues affecting young people, we do believe that the positives far outweigh the negatives. As a government, we stand committed to address the issues confronting our young people and seek to provide opportunities for all youth of this country through many of the ministry's programs. The pathway for Grenada's youth development agenda is captured in the National Youth Policy 2015 to 2020, which outlines 4 major pillars that would ground the work we do as a ministry. They include 1. Mainstreaming youth in Grenada's economic development. 2. Facilitating active youth participation in nation building. 3. Building youth resilience, strengthening human capital. 4. Professionalizing Grenada's youth work sector. As we celebrate Youth Week 2018, we must highlight the achievement of our young people in sports, culture, education, agriculture, science and innovation, among others. We celebrate the exemplary performance of the many young people who continue to excel and fly our country's flag all over the world. Today, we also pause to celebrate the contributions of others who have gone beyond the age of youth but have made significant contributions to youth development work in this country. We salute you. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to appeal to all the young people of this country to get involved in the activities to celebrate the achievement of our nation's youth, and more so, to be involved in the activities that will be able to strengthen our communities and build stronger youth networks. Having a strong youth movement offers us a golden opportunity to accelerate sustainable development and achieve peace and security. Empowering today's generation of young people is our country's only chance to reduce youth unemployment, end poverty, bridge inequalities, and reverse issues such as climate change. Young people of this country, it is my hope that as we get involved in the celebration of Youth Week 2018, that we can reignite the spirit of volunteerism among young people and encourage them to get involved in empowering themselves, shaping their communities, and protecting their future. I thank you.
The preceding was an address to the nation by Honorable Kate Lewis, Minister with Responsibility for Youth, in observance of Youth Week 2018, celebrated under the theme, Empowering Our Youth, Shaping Our Community, Protecting Our Future.
Minister Joseph, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Having had the benefit on working on both sides of the fence, so to speak, as a union representative and now as part of the government, you are uniquely positioned to speak on the issue. I'll allow you to do so.
Well, thank you very much. So let me give a brief background to this issue so that we can set it within the proper context. 1958 Pension Act made provision for established workers who are qualified to receive a pension. At that time, it was the qualifying age was 33 and a third years. That is the amount you had to make. And it was reduced through negotiation to 26 and 2/3. And I was involved in that negotiation, so I remember it very good. When we went to the government and said, 33 and a third years is a total long period. Let us consider 26 and 2/3. In fact, when I was preparing for the negotiation, we got this formula from St. Lucia. And that was in the 90s, but I remember it, as I said, because I was integrally involved in it. So that is what was at stake. And that was in place up to 1983. But let me first say, under the Act, you receive only one pension from government. So there was only one pension, because there was no NS. So only one pension was available. In 1983, the government then passed the Pension Disqualification Act on the 4th of April, 1983, which superseded and canceled the 1958 Pension Act and make it mandatory, a contributory plan where the employer and the employee will contribute to national insurance, and all workers will qualify and benefit on the national insurance scheme once they qualify. So to get an NIS pension, you must make 500 contributions, and NIS contribution is calculated on a weekly basis, so 500 weeks. So you could say 10 years, because 52 weeks in a year. Then you will get only an NIS pension. So that was to maintain the one pension. But this was fairer because, as I indicated, under the 1958 Pension Act, you had to be a permanently established worker to benefit from pension. So if you were unestablished or daily paid worker, you were not given a pension. However, in the 1983 amendment, with the coming to being of NIS, all workers who contributed to NIS would receive an NIS pension at the age of 60. So when this government came into office, it said, we need to look at pension reform and see how we can address this issue and address the concerns of workers that the NIS pension is not sufficient to allow them to live an adequate standard of living in order to meet their basic commitments. and a commitment was given by this government to review, reform, restore pensions. And that is where we are today. So where? So recall at the 4th of April 83, Humlin Armstrong took her matter to court and said that she was entitled to a gratuity and pension, having joined the public service before the 22nd of February 1985. Now why 22nd of February 85? Because that is the time when the law that was passed to abolish pension was gazetted. And that is why the court ruled that the effective date for the disqualification is February the 22nd, 1985. And that was the important ruling in the Humlin Armstrong case. It's not that the court restored pension for everyone. Said, because the law was gazetted on the 22nd of February, that then became the effective date for the disqualification of pension. And she started working before the 22nd of February 1985. So what did the government do? In keeping with the court ruling, the government restored pension to all workers that came into work before the 22nd of February 1985. And that cost the government $7 million in restoring pension. So the question of pension restoration was addressed by the government, and that is the only legal obligation the government has. So what did the government did? They met with the unions and said, let us look at reforming the Pension and Gratuity Act so that the workers who came after 22nd of February to the 31st of December 2018, the government, together with the unions, can address the issue of pension. And so the unions started meeting with the government-appointed pension committee to work out a formula for pension and gratuity in keeping with the government's commitment of reforming pension. And that's why the 70% minimum guaranteed is a negotiated amount. It was not anything that is in a law, because there's no law on pension. So the union is claiming, therefore, that the 25% gratuity, that the government had agreed with it, it is not in the MOU, it is not in the collective agreement. And then so they could not produce any document that was signed between the union and the government-appointed team. The latest position that I've heard from the union is that the 25% is enshrined in law. In other words, it's contained in law. So before I came on the program, I did some research. It is not under the Teachers' Pension Act. It is not under the act that governs the public workers, because the Pension Disqualification Act supersedes and cancels the 1958 Act. So I'm not aware of which act that they are referring to now. However, I need to make the point that if it is under an act, then you are legally entitled to it, then that is a matter that can easily be addressed in the court. They can do it like Humlin Armstrong went to court and get redress. So if, as I said, they are legally entitled to it, then they can go to court and argue the case that they are legally entitled to 25%. But as far as the government is aware, there is no such act. So the government proposes a 2% gratuity payment and a 98% as a worker's pension. I think that is important to understand. In the old formula, if you got 25%, then you will get 75% as your pension. So if you are getting 2% now, it means that you are entitled to 98% as a pension, and therefore you'll be getting more as a pension. In addition, every time public sector workers get an increase in salary, pensioners also receive an increase. So you will be getting an increase in your pension. You do not get increase in gratuity because that's a one-off lump sum payment. So what we are saying is that the workers are offered a higher pension than the unions are asking for. For example, if a public officer's pension worked out to be $2,000 a month, and he or she took a gratuity of 25%, the pension will be reduced to $1,500 a month. The gratuity, which is a prepayment on pension, will then be 500 multiplied by 12 times 12.5 years, which is equal to 75,000 payable at the time of retirement. However, under the government's 2% or for with a 98%, instead of the worker receiving $1,500 per month, they will get $1,920 as a pension, and I said with future increase. Now, the demand from the workers. They are demanding the 25% gratuity. As I said, there is no agreement, and if there is any agreement, the union is free to produce the agreement. The union demand will add up to $21 million annually to the payroll, bringing the cost of pension to approximately $74 million annually. This amount, first of all, is not affordable, neither is it sustainable. If you have to find $21 million additionally to add to the payroll, it means that you will have to cut back on a number of areas. Therefore, we'll have to send home the Imanis to get the money because we have to get 21 million extra. We'll have to close the house repair program. We'll have to stop the debushing program. We'll have to cut back because remember how the budget is done, you know. It's an annual estimate of revenue and expenditure. And allocations are made based on sectors. And therefore, to find an additional $21 million will mean getting it from some other allocation that's made. It's simple as that. So if the government is to agree with the union's proposal, then the poor man out in St. David's who looking for 2 fortnights, or Mr. Samuel who waiting for me to repair his roof and build a toilet on him, there will be no money left for that. Or the 1,300 Imanis that we're taking on, there will be no money left. The money will have to be used to meet this bill. Well, no responsible government could take a decision to commit the state, because what you're committing is a state pension, you know. So any government coming thereafter will have to pay it when you commit the state to that. In addition, there is a Fiscal Responsibility Act that is in place. And there is a public expenditure rule, which states that you cannot exceed expenditure to over 2% from the previous year. This amount will mean that we will have to bridge the Fiscal Responsibility Act. If we bridge the Fiscal Responsibility Act, it means that the financial pledges that we have, we will not receive it. It means that hundreds of millions of dollars in grant funding will not come to the state because of the breach of the Fiscal Responsibility Act. And the only reason why government have received grant funding and so much praise for its economic performance, because we have ensured that we remain disciplined, exercise fiscal discipline, and remain within our budget. And therefore, to give up all that in order to satisfy the demand of public sector workers that have already benefited over the last 5 years from $110 million in retroactive pay, a 10% increase, 3% in 2017, 3% in 2018, 4% in 2019, just for public sector workers. This government cannot afford to neglect all the other sectors in society. We need to stimulate economic growth in the country. We need to reduce unemployment. It will be highly irresponsible for this government or any government to get into agreement that will see the other sectors of society suffering. We call on the unions to go back to the bargaining table, to sit with the pension committee, to see how we can reach agreement on this matter. Because it's not a simple matter of the government just refusing to pay 25%, or that the government agreed to pay 25% and now, instead of that, offering 2%. Because that is the basis for the industrial action, you know. The basis for the industrial action is the trade union saying to its members that government agreed to 25% and then just change it to 2%. And yet they have not provided any document to show that the government signed an agreement for 25%. And so we are saying to the membership that there is no agreement in force and that the government is willing to continue talking with the unions in the interest of the country. And therefore, what is at stake is the future development of the country. We have to be responsible, as I said, and ensure that we act in a...
It is said that education is the key to success. The Grenada Development Bank believes this to be the truth. Hence the reason we have made it our prerogative to ensure that your key is in safe hands with us. Here is how you can unlock your success with an education loan from the GDB. We offer you 3 loan options. We've got our regular student loan, our work-study student loan, and our special student loan. Our regular student loan is for persons who wish to pursue full-time tertiary level education. If you are a permanent employee who wish to study while continuing your employment, then our work-study loan is for you. Our special student loan is in collaboration with the government of Grenada, geared towards vulnerable persons who would like to pursue higher level education. Remember, you must have proof of admission from a recognized institution here at home or abroad. All our loans are 100% financing with interest rates as low as 5%. Get your funding from GDB today for your tertiary level education, your technical training or vocational training, even professional development, with up to 12 years to repay. Your future success is today. Grab it now.
The Ministry of Youth Development, Sports, Culture and the Arts present Youth Week 2018, empowering our youth, shaping our community, protecting our future. The week of activities kicks off on Friday, November 9th with the Minister's Address from 8 p.m. Saturday, 10th November, Health Fair, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Cuthbert Peters Park War, and the Fitness Revolution, 3 p.m. Concord Junction. Sunday, 11th November, it's the Peace Concert, Grenville Bus Terminal. On Tuesday, 13th November, ministers meet with the youth at Her Majesty's Prison. Thursday, 15th November, from 5 p.m., it's the Imani Graduation, Youth Awards and Gala. And on Friday, 16th through the weekend, it's the National Youth Service Weekend. Every parish get involved. And on Saturday, 17th November, it's Youth Expo, Explosion Fashion and Cultural Day, 2 p.m. until at Hero Square, Victoria in St. Mark. So remember, Youth Week 2018, November 9th to the 17th.
You're listening to Hard Talk Grenada via www.hardtalkgrenada.com.
Hi, Dogan, my name is again this year, boy. Hi, just now we are no good friend in Grenada, boy. 40, hi, tell them, be this year. Who the cap fit wear it, man? Watch me. Friend me and Dogan I'm 40 this year. Hey. Cause I didn't want to call your name, but you really make your brother Mike ashamed. Pick up a woman in Ripasa. Fire! Hey, so you bad so boy? Give me room, man.
I just see round a corner, I just hear from distance away. Now, when you hear the news come out, there is nothing for you to say. What I hear doesn't matter. I see that does make me wonder. Now, if tonight I sing I like the cause he can't close me eyes. I see the woman I thought parent. She 9 baby Greg. Parana secret boy. No boy, we sing anything. Once it's true. Let it through. How we doing things? Like fire, this. Fire.
Bonan boy, I cannot understand why you want your sister for woman. That night to try rich.
All right, folks. Good morning, Grenada Carriacou. And me play para. Not me.
Morning, Bernard.
Good morning to you, Grenada Carriacou and Pedimandix. It's now 13 minutes after the hour of 10 o'clock. On this Baizal, my name is Sheldon Scott.
I'm Devon Romain.
Yes, indeed. And you're listening to Hard Talk. We're live on 97.5 City Sound FM.
89.5 CRFM.
92.9 Sister Isles out there in Carriacou.
And 94.9 We Vibe Radio in Brooklyn. It's cold out there.
Yeah, man. Indeed. I see snowfall in certain places. And so, folks, wherever you are, special good morning to you. All good friends out there in North Carolina. I need to say a very special good morning to you guys. And those of you who might be in South Carolina as well, California, wherever you are. Yeah, California, they just kind of opened the eyes and so up in California. So good morning to you folks. Hope you all are having a wonderful morning this morning. Hope everything is going well. And to those out there in across the pond over there in the UK and Switzerland, Germany, our good friends out there. I even have a couple friends in Bosnia who listening from time to time. Yeah, they're signing from Sarajevo from time to time, and Croatia and so on. And we say a special good morning to each and every one of you. They don't always understand everything that we're speaking about. Yeah, because, you know, it's Grenadian, these are Grenadian issues and so on. So they don't always understand what we're talking about. But they like the vibes, man. Yeah, so they tune in. Devon, how was your night?
Well,
we know you had to sleep funny.
A little better than the previous nights.
Yeah, we know you had to kind of lie down funny.
Less pain and everything. But hey,
but it's coming along, though.
I'm coping, yeah. It's coming along. I still have an appointment this afternoon again, so
yeah.
You know.
Once your appointment does not bring disappointment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I keep in the faith. It's just like once you're back on the bargaining table, there must be some resolution.
Yeah. Hey, Devon, man. On Monday, it's going to be the throne speech.
Yeah, it's budget time, man.
Yeah, so Parliament, if it's not already closed, it will be closed sometime today or so.
I think it's closed.
So once it's closed, you have the reopening of Parliament, the ceremonial reopening of Parliament. That will be taking place on Monday at the Parliament building, the new Parliament building.
Yes. So for the benefit of all our listeners and viewers, what is the throne speech? What comprises of this throne speech, and who generally makes the throne speech?
The throne speech would be delivered by Her Excellency Dame Cécile Lagrenade, and the throne speech will outline exactly the direction that government will be going for the next year. So up from this month until next year, November, the throne speech will outline what government is going to be doing in every sector. So within the throne speech, and the throne speech isn't specific. So if you don't hear something, don't say, well, I didn't hear my road call in the throne speech. You will not hear your road called in the throne speech. Yeah? So you may hear that, Her Excellency say, "Good morning, Your Excellency, Dame Cécile Lagrenade." You may hear her say, "My government," because it's her government. She's the Governor General. It's her government. She has formed the government, yeah, based on the results of the election and the recommendation of the Prime Minister for various appointments and other sectors for appointments. She has made those appointments. It's her government. That's why she refers to my government. So you may hear her say under the section that deals with infrastructure, she may say, my government will be spending several hundreds of millions of dollars on road rehabilitation, and the following are some of the major roads that will be done, and she may mention one or two roads. It doesn't mean that other roads will not be done, but the throne speech is just like a synopsis. It's like you shorten everything and you put it together. It's similar to the budget speech, but it shortens everything.
It's more compact.
Right. And while the budget speech goes more into the accounting aspects of things, the throne speech is more overreaching. So it may say our legislative agenda. The budget wouldn't go into your legislative agenda, but the throne speech may say our legislative agenda, or in other words, the laws we intend to pass are laws against child pornography, laws against this, laws against that, or to review existing laws such as so. You may hear her speak about agriculture, and she may say, my government intends to do A, B, and C. Good morning to you, Sophia. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Still remember the days of Sophia on the tracks, the bad girl when it come to running and thing back in the days, in Trinidad. Not here, boy, not here. In Trinidad.
I'm trying to.
Yeah.
I'm looking for the face.
Morning to you, Sophia, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. I don't know if you're in the cold or if you're down in TNT, but I hope you're having a wonderful morning this morning. Yeah, Devon. So the throne speech is delivered by the Governor General, and the throne speech is like a mini budget speech, but not just dealing with figures, more dealing with the actions that the government will be taking over the next year. It may say, my government intends to deal with environmental issues, and so, yeah, environmental issues and so on. So it's a proper speech that is, in fact, okay, let me put it like this. Each ministry would send in their individual part of what their agenda is for the next year, right? So they would say, we're going to focus on, like, for instance, the Ministry of Youth, Project Strong, prison rehabilitation, Imani program, youth in business, that sort of thing. So you would hear that, right? So that is what will be delivered on Monday.
Okay.
So it's a good opportunity to get an insight into some of the things that you would be hearing in the budget. You may hear one or two announcements, things that you may not have known were about to happen or will be happening. You may hear that within the throne speech, so it's very important to listen to it. And remember, as I said, while the budget speech deals with more the economic side of things, the figures, yeah, the how much money you're going to spend on this area, how much you saved, how much, and gives a financial picture, and so. And even in reading the budget speech, a lot of people don't realize the budget speech might be, 100 pages, something so, according to the size of the booklet that they use. The budget speech is only that, but the budget document is much bigger. So while you may hear, okay, we ain't hear nothing for agriculture, But the Prime Minister may have spoken, or the Minister of Finance may have spoken for as long as 4 or 5 minutes, 10 minutes on agriculture. And you might still hear somebody come up and say, I don't hear nothing about agriculture because I don't hear about this or that. That could be there, but it's included in the document. And when the Minister of Agriculture speaks, then she would be able to expound on the particular areas. So again, in the budget speech that you're going to be hearing next week, Wednesday, don't expect to hear everything about everything. I think that's a false expectation some people have. And Devon, you've been to many budget speeches. I've been to many myself. You do not hear specifics on everything. No. You hear a general thing. Now, the two things to note again, some people might find it a little funny. Two things to note again. When you're looking inside the Parliament chamber on Monday, you will see all of the parliamentarians seated. When I say you'll see all of them seated, you'll see all of them around the table, because the throne speech is a joint sitting, right? It's a joint sitting. So it's the Senate together with the House of Representatives. They will be there sitting together for the throne speech. When it comes to the budget, you will only see the House of Representatives sitting, because the budget speech is delivered in the House of Representatives. You'll see the senators there, but they'll be sitting on some seats to the back.
Formalities.
But yeah, as formalities. So you'll be seeing that. On Monday, for the throne speech, you'll be seeing the police would be marching and so on. In fact, I'm seeing them practicing really hard. See the policemen out there whole week. In fact, Devon, the entire week they've been here practicing really hard. When I say here, they're right across the road from us, the police band. So we're seeing them in and out. So they've been practicing. Plus, they have police brass coming up. Yeah, they have police brass coming up. So, folks, get your tickets. Don't stick on that one. Get your tickets for police brass, right? So you'll see the police. They'll have the band and everything there. You'll have the Governor General come and do her review. She will enter the chamber to the fanfare. She presents. She doesn't. She stands. The Prime Minister then presents her with the speech. You'd see the Prime Minister walk up to the Governor General and present her with the speech, and then she proceeds to read the throne speech. All right? So just letting people know a bit of what to expect on Monday and Tuesday.
So the throne speech normally would be anywhere between 30 to 60 minutes. It
could. Yeah. I'm just getting some documents here. Yeah. Go right ahead, Devon.
Yeah, the throne speech based on previous budgets and or throne speeches and so given by Governor General, it usually be anywhere between 30 minutes to 60 minutes. I don't think it exceeds all of that, because as you said, it's a document that has been presented to the Grenadian people, but it's compact, right, as to the major accomplishments and what the government intend to do, within the next year. And so,
right.
On Monday, we got to look forward to that presentation, so we could start to listen to some of the ideas and projects and so that the government has in mind for the next year. And so that is why it is so important, doing that before the budget, so it gives us a sense of which direction the government is going.
Yeah, and also remember, once you prorogue Parliament, that's one session that has ended, and you're going to start the next one. And when you hear the budget speech on Wednesday, you're hearing the speech. But the budget document, for those of you that can actually see on camera, the budget document is actually like this. This is actually what the budget document looks like. It's somewhere in the region of, let me see how many pages, in total 493 in this case. It's 493 pages long. In this case, this one was 467 pages long, 470 pages long. And so while you hear the speech, the document itself is much larger. So don't go listening to the Prime Minister and then come out of there saying, well, I didn't hear anything about this, or I didn't hear anything about that. You would not. You will hear the general specific areas. You would hear housing, social development, healthcare,
tourism,
right, agriculture, national security, ICT development, and science and technology. You'll hear the environment. So you'll hear specific areas. You would hear the major projects within it. And sometimes there might be a major project and the finance minister may not even address that major project. They may leave that for the line minister to announce. Specifically if it's a project that's going to be coming about in that particular MP's area or so on, they may leave that for that MP or that minister to speak about when they're doing their delivery. So when you listen, you must listen to the budget in its entirety. You listen to the budget speech. So you get the general overall. This is how much money government has made, how much they're going to spend, the recurrent expenditure, etc., etc., etc. You get all of that. And then afterwards, when you listen to each of the ministers speak, then you could go back afterwards and say, well, I didn't hear about this or I didn't hear about that. And even then, you still have to check the budget document because it's usually there. Yeah? All right. Open the phone lines.
Yeah, we can open the phone line as early as possible. Anybody, any comments, any questions you may want to ask pertaining to the budget, you know, what you don't understand, and so, or any other thing that is burning you up inside. Don't let it burn you up, right? We got all the water and the fire extinguishers to kind of, you know, blow it off. Don't mind me, I got one hand.
440-7377
and 347-329-3101.
Yes.
And Josephine, just to let you know, I fell. Despite take away all the rumors about somebody did anything to me, I did fell and
good morning, Brenda.
Damaged my arm, you know.
Good morning, Brenda.
Thanks for being so curious.
Morning, Brenda. Man had in a sling, Brenda. Yesterday, unfortunately, when I checked back, realized that we missed several calls from the diaspora.
Yeah.
There were many people from outside of Grenada that were trying to call in. And folks, you all gonna have to excuse us today. When someone is calling from outside of Grenada, today we want to give them a little opportunity to get through.
Yes.
Priority. So if you find we cut you a little short or that it takes a while for you to get through because we have somebody from overseas on the line, I think from time to time we have to do something like that. Because it was kind of unfair, and I need to say it was kind of unfair, and it's my fault, not you all, my fault. It is kind of unfair for people to be taking their time out there in the cold to try and call in, and we don't give them the opportunity to have their say.
And lots of them is that they're at work and so, and that's the only opportunity they have. So
we don't know what the Kunumunu doing right now. He's getting ready for his program tomorrow morning. Yeah, he's getting ready for his program tomorrow morning. Django at City Sound, good morning to you. A superstar, morning, sweetheart. I hope you're having a fabulous day. Karen, the entire staff down there at City Sound FM. We do hope that you're having a fabulous day. Yeah, then
good morning to you, boss.
The original boss.
Doing? Yeah, the original
boss.
You know, good morning to you. I hope you're having a wonderful morning this morning.
Yeah, and also the staff out there at City Sound, not City Sound, Sister Isles FM.
Sister Isles.
Yeah. So Lisa Marie, good morning.
Sikio. Good morning to you,
Mr.
boss.
Fraser.
Mr. Fraser.
Never forget his name.
Yes.
That's one reason I wouldn't forget his name.
Yes, Mr. Fraser.
Mr. Fraser. Good morning to you, Mr. Fraser. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Yeah, and to the rest of the staff, Juggling Junior. No, it's not Juggling Junior.
No, not Juggling Junior.
That is DJ Jack.
DJ Jack.
DJ Jack, man. Juggling Junior used to be City Song at that time.
Yeah, Juggling Junior at Boss now.
Yeah, at Boss now?
Yeah.
All right, nice, man. You listening to all them stations? They're only better than me.
I just tune in wherever when it's important. Hey, good morning to all the wonderful citizens of Petite Martinique and Carriacou. Good morning to all of you, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and a special good morning to the staff at Paddy's.
You see, just continue.
Paddy's and oh God, our good friend in the car rentals there, and Sheldon.
Wayne Bullen.
Yeah, Wayne Bullen.
Wayne Bullen and staff.
And the staff at the restaurant right there across. I
had to stop calling out place. People knowing where there's line when I go in
Sasha, good morning, my dear.
Sashoy. People knowing where others eat, people knowing where others drink, and where others lime when I go in Carriacou. I'll stop call.
Hey, and my favorite girl. Yeah, the barbecue lambi lady. I know if I take the boat to this morning or this evening again.
I'm not sure if she started back barbecuing. She wasn't well, you know. She wasn't well. When I went up to Carriacou the other day, well, you know, we're relatives.
Yes.
She had actually just got back into Carriacou. Wow. She had not been very well, so she hadn't been barbecuing for a little while. But she may be back out now. I'm not sure.
We hope she's feeling much better.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, my dear.
I'm calling from over the post office.
Which one of them?
That's Ghanaian's post office.
Okay, my friend, I'm now making the voice. Go right ahead, yeah.
It's over 3 weeks now. They do some work up by in the road.
Up on the hill itself?
Up on top of the hill itself.
Mm-hmm.
And they fill up some bags and they pick up they do some stuff. And they have all this stuff packed up there.
Oh.
I will ask the authority and whoever has to pick it up to send someone to pick it up, because I remember telling the people when they was cleaning there, make sure that when they go and let the people know to come and pick up the stuff, because people is passing with the pan and the box and the Kentucky box and everything, and they just throwing it there like it turned a garbage heap. And the people clean up there so good. So why they does not send people to clean up after the bush? Because it's scattering all about, and people is just putting all the garbage there as it turn a garbage heap.
Yeah, and that's very unfortunate. And I know the area you're talking about above the post office there. So, my dear, I know who I have to call. I know one of them listening, but I know who I have to call. So I'm going to speak to them, and I'm going to give you a call because I have your number.
And what about the thing on the beach? We have to pass it, go down by the hotel.
Yeah, I've seen it.
To go to the beach, we can't pass on the steps no more.
I've seen it. I've seen that as well. I did not get a response on that one, but I promise you I'll get a response on this one for you.
Can somebody do something for us, please? We need it.
No problem.
We need to go to the beach. We can't always pass in front by the hotel to go through there, to go there.
Although they can't stop you from passing on.
I know they won't stop us, but what
can't.
I'm saying, people can come right up from up there and go all down there.
Yeah, it's unfair. It's unfair, yeah. Okay, my dear. So let me work on that for you. All right. You too. Now, what the caller is referring to there, I know that there was an issue in relation to the collection after the environmental wardens and the bushers have cleaned different areas. There was an issue, particularly in the south of the island, when it came to collecting the garbage and the silt and so on. Now, what was happening is that the police were saying to them that the trucks could not do it during the daytime. When the trucks were attempting to clean the silt in the daytime, be it morning, be it afternoon time or so, what was taking place is that it was causing traffic congestion.
Serious traffic congestion.
Yeah? So once a truck was there, bet your bottom dollar you was having traffic backed up for a good distance. So the police said to them, that can't work. You can't have the truck park up there in the day collecting the garbage, the refuse at the side of the road. This is a different to what the caller is speaking about. I'll come to her just now. Now, what happened is that the team decided that, okay, they're going to collect that now in the night time. They're going to send the truck out and collect it in the night. But the problem was that when you collected it in the night, Perseverance was closed. So you had nowhere to go and put it in the night time. So you were between a rock and a hard place. I know that they've worked something out so that there's somebody will be there at Perseverance to ensure that it's open so that they can deliver in the night time. I know that was put in place. So that was the main issue in relation to the collection, because I drive into the south. I live in the south. So I'm driving up and down in the south every single day, Sunday to Sunday. So I see it and I know the problem. Because you're driving now and you have to drive a little more into the road because there's silt at the side. But the problem was just a problem that the police said, no, you can't do that during the day because look what you're causing with the traffic congestion. And secondly, they couldn't do it in the night because the place was closed, so nowhere to deposit it. That has been worked on. But I think what may have taken place in this instance is that somebody dropped the ball when it comes to, because that one is off of the main road.
Yeah.
She's speaking about up that hill there.
Right
You
up
could
that-
go up there and you go to
Yeah,
John and Glay or you go to golf course. And she's speaking up on that hill there. And if people are seeing garbage there and coming and drop more garbage there, come on, man. We have to do better than that.
Yeah, we got to.
Yeah, it has to be collected. Must be collected, eh? And we want it collected either later today or tomorrow.
Good morning and welcome.
Hey, good morning, Devon. Good morning, Sheldon. How are you guys doing?
Friend. Not
Morning,
too
sir.
bad,
We
man.
good?
You know, Chad, I said to call you back last time, but I didn't get through at all. And I'll tell you, that, I have some guys, they still want to know how they
You
can
you
get
have me on
involved.
WhatsApp?
Huh?
You have me on WhatsApp?
I think I had it on a number, but I don't know if I have you on the same. If you can give me the number again, because I have new numbers now.
Okay. Although my phones are giving problem. I'm having a problem with it, with my phone right now. But try 406-5422.
406?
5422. Just WhatsApp me. 406-5422.
All right, good.
Try WhatsApping me there. Although it's giving problems, I can't. Up to last night trying to charge the phone, it's not taking charge. But you send it there. I'll
Okay,
try to
good.
get it. Yeah. Mhm.
I'll give you a call back, yeah?
Yeah, that too. But yeah, you're on something else you wanted to talk.
Yeah, I'll call you next time, yeah.
Okay, no problem. Mhm. Yeah. So the other one, I'm gonna speak to the relevant persons in relation to the garbage there because it's off the main. So the truck may have come, collect what it had to collect by the post office and going down by the guest houses and all these places there, and neglected to go up the hill.
Yeah.
So we need to get the truck to know that you have to go up the hill.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because that's the
residential
thing.
area.
People see it. Next thing, people start to take their bag of garbage and start to rest there too, you know.
And even there, of course.
Yeah,
that is
because they
what-
say, well, look, garbage to collect it, don't come and collect it.
Because she's starting to say that when people see that
The
they
KFC
put
box.
in their KFC box and everything, and then when the KFC box and so go there, the dogs, the stray dogs, and so start tearing them up all over the place, so it creates another problem.
Mhm.
So we have
Plus
we
the
have to-
rats.
plus the rats
And cockroaches.
and when the
And
rats
other vermin.
when the rats get involved, that's a serious problem. So we have to be mindful of all of that. So those who are responsible, and as Sheldon said,
Devon?
yeah, we know they're listening.
Somebody's saying good morning to Devon and Sheldon. Say good morning to Deandra, please.
Yes, good morning to Deandra. I'm seeing that. How are you doing this morning, my dear?
Morning, Didi. Hope that you're having a wonderful morning this morning. And
Yeah.
Wallan, Josephine, Betty, Hannah, all of you on the live this morning, we hope that you're having a fabulous morning this morning. We hope everything is going your way. Yeah, and as we say, we're looking for the calls on the diaspora too. We have a call, a song for them. We have. Give them the diaspora number again, Devon.
Ooh. 347-329-3101. Give us a call.
To some at home, it kinda seems like we miles apart.
Especially when all in the cold right now, boy. Woo! Ice falling from the sky.
You had to put thing all over your ears and all kind of thing. I mean, it's
Only time we does our ice falling from the sky here is when we throw an ice cube in the air or we peel that behind somebody.
Yeah, we peel that and it come down.
Yeah,
Take
that
some sheave ice and we just pour it on
That's
somebody here.
That's the only time we have ice falling
Only
from the
time
sky.
we have ice falling from the sky.
But never mind where we live out of foreign. Europe and not America is the sound of the diaspora calling. We want you to know we love we sweet Grenada. Hey, I said the diaspora calling. Yeah, yeah. We want you to know that we love we Grenada back. Diaspora calling. Yeah, yeah. We love Grenada even though we may.
And those of you locally, 440-7377.
Together, man, we have this nation to build. We got to see ourselves like brothers and sisters. Let's put shoulders to the wheel. Well, let me tell you now, the diaspora calling. Yeah, yeah. We want Grenadians at home to please understand. Say the diaspora calling. Yeah, yeah. We love Grenada like the hills love the Grande Town.
Yes, indeed. Tune day, man. Folks, hey, Devon, the thing is this. I was looking at, I usually get up during the night or very early in the morning and I read my regional news and international news. And yesterday, I had been mentioning on the program that TSTT, the Telecommunication Services of Trinidad and Tobago, they were about to send home some workers, roughly 100. My figures were way off. They actually sent home 580 workers have been sent home. Their last day of work was yesterday. Wow. They got their letters yesterday. And you know, the funny, well, I don't want to say funny thing, but something happened in Trinidad when they retrenched the workers from Petrotrin, the couple thousand that they retrenched from Petrotrin, and the 580 that they're retrenching from TSTT right now. In both instances, the leader of the unions representing those received their retrenchment letters too.
Well, they're supposed to be the first.
Yeah. So the guy who is actually the leader of the union for TSTT, he was retrenched. He was given a letter yesterday. So he received a letter yesterday. Plus, they told him they'd pay him for the rest of the year. They up until the 31st of December. So he'll get 40-something days salary. But that's it. Yeah. He's unemployed.
Yeah, he's leading by example.
Yeah, he's unemployed. And they fired everything. They fired from telephone operator to linesmen to engineers. Yeah. They got rid of everything.
It's a serious situation that's developing down there.
They found themselves in a situation where they have to be retrenching to get their economy to the stage of what our economy is. They have to be firing people. Now, people say, oh, Petrotrin is a statutory body. Petrotrin is a statutory body that the government of Trinidad has the majority shares in. So in other words, it's basically the government controlling it. So when you send home workers, there's the same as government sending home workers. So Petrotrin in Trinidad has had to retrench workers. Well, everybody, because they had to close it. So they had to retrench basically everyone. Then you've had that situation now with TSTT. So they've gone there now and they sending home everybody. Well, not everybody, TSTT, 580 of their staff. That's no small number.
That's a lot of persons going home on the breadline. Because you're talking about 500 plus persons, but you're not talking that the amount of families that affects, right? In excess of perhaps, more than 500 families anyways, So it's a ripple effect when things like that happen. That is why it is so important there for all of us in this country to be mindful, right? Looking and seeing what is going on around us, right? And putting measures and doing sensible things, right? To secure what we have. We cannot afford to follow these other countries in going down, right? We have a country to continue building. We cannot afford to sit down, right, and just relax and think everything is all right. No, we must continue on the path that we are going. Patience is what is needed, right? Negotiation is what is needed. Compromise is what is needed because Grenada, right, is the bigger picture.
All right. So, okay. Hey, short man, behave yourself. Another short man, next short man. Behave yourself, brother. Nice. All right. Yeah, all right. But I hear a kind of thing there about them teachers and them saying they, Monday and Tuesday they're looking to take a little thing. But let me say this, The president of the Teachers Union is not the Ministry of Education. No. He cannot. Because he has other people whole morning asking if it have school, if it don't have school. There is school. If the teachers decide not to make themselves present, that is another issue. The Ministry of Education has not said anything about there being no school any day for next week. As far as the ministry is concerned, there is school Monday, there's school Tuesday, there's school Wednesday, there's school Thursday, there's school Friday. As far as the Ministry of Education in the state of Grenada is concerned, there is school every day next week. If teachers, the staff, decide that they are not going to present themselves for work at the institutions, that is a matter between the teachers and their unions. But as far as the ministry is concerned, there is school. Yep. Yeah? So if the teachers decide that they're not going to go out, that's another story. But we also know that the government of Grenada has stated clearly to all teachers that if they do not show up, they will not be paid. So far, they're running on 25% of the Christmas salary that most likely we ain't going to show up. Yeah, because I didn't think they will come out of the November salary. The November salary, because government closes off sending in all the information for salaries on the 15th. That would have been yesterday. So I don't foresee the money coming out of the November salary, but the Christmas salary, the one that you're going to use just around Christmas time there, yeah, I foresee that when the money had to come out, it will come out there. So nobody ain't going to be scaring the government and feel that this month they are the ones that come and they make government give them the salary and government afraid. No, it's not this end of month you have to be worried about. It's the next one. Yeah? So the teachers, you have been informed by the government of Grenada, who is the employer, who represent the people of Grenada, who are your overall and the government's employer, that if you do not show up for work at any time due to these issues here, you will not be paid for those days. Clear and simple. So far they're running on 25% of the Christmas salary. It looks like they want to take another 2 days off of that. They want to go over 25%.
Well, I cannot understand the arrogance and in my view, the irresponsible behavior of the union leaders. And I have to say that, right? Because there is so much room for negotiations. So much.
But government is willing to negotiate. It's the unions that on an ego trip.
Exactly. That is my point. You know, and it brings me back, and I want workers to remember, it brings me back during the period 2008, 2013, right? When the unions negotiated with government, they were offered 0, 0, 0. They didn't get anything, right? For a number of years, right? This government is making that effort, not to give everything because it can't, but to reach out, to do better than what was done before. There is too much room for negotiations, right? You stay away from the negotiations table and then you send in threat both to the nation's children, right, and to government. This is not fair.
I can't confirm the union, their leadership, yeah, they will release their statement when the time comes and say whether or not what I have heard from my sources. Yep. Well, some people that say I look a bird. Yeah, right now I have all kind of thing. No, you look a bird and a drone and all.
Yeah.
Yeah, but from what I've heard, that is what I'm hearing. The possibility that they may be attempting to stay off on Monday and Tuesday. And
on what grounds?
Well, I don't know on what grounds now, man. It might be on Tantine grounds. It might be on Progress Park grounds. I don't know what kind of grounds it is, but they decide that they may be deciding. So we'll hear.
Yeah, we'll
hear.
And see.
That is what I have heard tentatively. The union will release something and say if they're staying away. But they are not the ones to decide whether or not there is school. No union leader can come out and say there is no school.
He has no authority.
That just shows you the ego. That just shows you the ego. I am the boss. I am the big bad boss. So if I say you don't have, you don't have. You understand? No. You're not the boss.
I'm very disappointed with the approach, right, that the leadership of the unions are taking. And so because the nation is at stake. You, in my view, the leadership are just looking right in front of you. Right? You're not looking, right, for the next 30 or 40 years. You know, the young teachers, the young workers who are now joining the service, right? Are you really concerned about them? Or are you really concerned about the thousands of our students who have to bear the blunt of your wrath against them? And that is what it is. Because you are denying our children. And a lot of you teachers have children going to school. You are denying your children an opportunity to educate. Time lost can never be recovered. I mean, very important time lost.
You think when they stay home with their children that they're not going to take the time to teach their children when they stay home with them?
And that's the advantage some of them have. Right? The others, like us, don't have that luxury. We are not teachers. We are not educators. Right? We have to look for assistance or find privately tutors to teach our children. It is not fair for our children to continue to put them on the wire like that. You putting our children under the bus.
Here's the crux of the matter. You cannot say that a situation is unfair and create another unfair situation to address a situation that they claim is unfair.
Man.
Now, here's this. The unions are saying that teachers ought not to retire into poverty. The government is saying that teachers ought not to retire into poverty. The unions are saying teachers deserve to get a pension and a gratuity. The government is saying teachers deserve to get a pension and gratuity.
Same page.
The law says teachers are not due to get any pension or gratuity from the government of Grenada. They are only due to get a pension from the National Insurance Scheme. That's what the law says. The government is saying, let us change that law. Let us make sure that outside of the NIS pension, that teachers can also get a government pension and something that wasn't there at all now, a gratuity together with that government pension so that they can go home and relax. Now, the government is saying that, and you have people going around saying the government wicked.
Yeah. All the government is trying to do is to restore and to reform. Something that was there was taken away. It's not there anymore, but this government is trying to restore it and reform it. It's important so everyone can benefit.
I would use a term that a friend of mine in Beaton does use, but I'll stop that. Anybody that know Mao up there in Beaton, La Femme, don't know the term he does always talk about when a certain thing pass without rope in the neck. When you see something passing with rope in the neck, don't take it and tie it by your house, leave it let go.
Yeah, leave it let go.
Yeah. You know why he say that? He said because sometimes you don't know how why the person cut the rope and let it go. So he said leave it, don't take it and tie it by your house. Let it go. Because there's a way that this could not have been up for discussion, you know. Government could have challenged the Hermelin Armstrong case to have that whole issue for years to come again and not be having this discussion right now. Right now, everybody could have been playing parang and Christmas carols and saying Christmas coming up, budget next week, let's see what's in the budget for us. And we would not have been having this discussion. We would not have been having this discussion.
I mean,
but it's government that decided, let's open this discussion. We can't have public workers. We can't have police, teachers, nurses going home empty-handed. You can't have it.
I mean, I want them to sit down and think for a while. I mean, sit down with your family and think of the situation that you were in. Most of the government workers, teachers, whatever, the situation that they are in right now, right, according to law, they are not entitled for pension from government, right? They are not. The law states so, right? And they know that. But this government, I mean, think about it, have stretched out the hand and said, no, this is unfair. We will not challenge it, but we will try to restore it in the best way possible, reform where necessary, so that every single worker in this country can benefit. No, I mean, can't you just sit on the table and negotiate about where we go from here? That's all government is asking.
And you see, the thing is this, look, this is so unfair. You have a right to withdraw your labor. You have that right. The employer has a right not to pay when you withdraw your labor. That is the employer's right. But some people want to be the ones with all the rights alone. So, some persons withdrew their labor. So they did not go to work at either the schools, they did not go to work at the ministerial complex and so. They were unsuccessful in being able to stop government from functioning. They were unsuccessful. Let's just make that clear. The Public Workers Union was unsuccessful in being able to stop government from functioning. They may have slowed down the process in different departments, but they weren't able to stop government from functioning. I'd say this as well, that it is wrong of anyone to go and start attacking verbally those who did go to work during that period of time, passing and throwing comments at them.
That's their right.
It's their right. It's your right to strike. It's their right not to strike. You're damn fast. You can't tell me that I have to follow you and I have to. Yeah. That was the attitude of a certain political party last election. You see what happened to them? Yeah. Their attitude was their way is the only way and they are the only right ones. And anybody who don't support them, stupid and dotish.
That's why they have nothing to sit down on.
Yeah. Right now, when Parliament opening and all kind of thing, they have to go and sit down in the visitors' gallery or watch it on TV.
Just like me.
But that is the only option right now.
That's the only option.
Yeah? That is the only option right now.
You know, and Sheldon, and this morning I've been listening to a particular commentator. And in my view, the whole question of incitement, right? Right, in our nation, inciting the nation with wrong information. And so, I mean, why are we so vindictive? Right, and most time dogmatic in our comments and in our doings. Why can't we see the reality of things? Not because we from a different political organization or we support different systems or what. But when something is wrong, it's wrong. Right? When something cannot happen, it cannot happen and it must not be forced. Anything that is forced upon someone, right, it will rebound and it will have problems. That is what some of you want the government to do, to force his hands, pay out money that it cannot pay out. And then a year, 2 years down the road, the government crash to your benefit.
It's a good lesson for trade unionists to watch what is going on in Trinidad.
And Barbados.
Look at what is taking place right south of our border. Look at what is going on. For years, you had the oilfield workers trade union believe that they was invincible. They took government after government after government to court. They strike. They do all sorts of things because they wanted higher salaries and higher salaries and higher salaries and weren't looking that they was milking the cow until the finished get milk and was blood that was taken and then they milked the blood too and the cow end up with bone and marrow alone.
And the cow getting old and they don't
So what ended up happening? The owner slaughtered the cow and he couldn't even sell the meat.
Yeah, he couldn't sell it.
So he had nothing to give them. So at the end of the day, he just take what look you have and he had to pay them off. And who ended up getting a letter? The President General of the Oilfield Workers Trade Union got his dismissal letter too.
Of course.
And he had he had himself to blame because they sucked the company so much that it became unwieldy. You could not afford to pay the salaries that you had to pay. So what did they end up having to do? Close the company. Look at what is going on with TSTT now. 580 going home. Already get the letter told, hey, don't even bother to come back Friday. You know. Today was your last day. Hey, see this letter? Get some box. Them thing you're in the office day. Whatever you have in your locker, you could go with it. But today is your last day. You do not need to report here again. If you pass back in, it's just to drop our keys and take what you have to take. That is the situation in Trinidad. And why? Because the same thing with the TSTT workers, you know. Every minute was a strike. We want more, we want more, we want more. And the company got into a situation that it could not afford that level of staff. So you have to retrench. What are you going to do now? Strike and say you want your work back? You're not employed again.
You know,
and if we go that direction here in Grenada, we're going to push the government into a position that you have to retrench. That you have to say, yes, we're going to give you all of that, but we're going to get rid of a whole set of people before they reach retirement age. Before they make the 26 and something, that you're going to end up having to pay them a gratuity and pay them a pension. Let's just retrench and put those people name on the list. Get rid of them. Those who make it already or those who are going to make it, maybe we ought to get rid of them too. And bring a new set of people in. There are companies internationally. You know what those companies do? They know that certain benefits click in for workers after a particular period of time, be it 2 years, 3 years, whatever. Just before the benefits click in, they find an excuse and they retrench the worker. And they continually do that. Every time they know your benefits click in at 3 years, at 2 years, 5 months, they find an excuse And they say, we're closing that department. And they close that department, they open it under a new name, same thing. Under a new name, they get rid of those workers because they know that certain benefits click in at a point in time. That is what some companies have been doing internationally. Yeah? And you wouldn't do that here in Grenada. But you're going to reach that stage that you're going to have to retrench because you would know for a fact that your country cannot absorb that amount on a pension bill on a monthly basis. So what's the best thing? Avoid having so much pensioners in it. Yep. You're going to have to retrench.
Minimizing them.
You will going to have to retrench.
I just cannot understand that someone who is willing.
Angelique, no, they're not liking me.
Someone who is willing to reach out to the workers and say, look, you do not have that, but it is good for you to have that. So let us negotiate. Let us see what I as an employer can do to make your situation better at the end of your stint working with government, either as a teacher, a public worker, or wherever, right? Let us try to make it much better and easier, right, for you in the future, to retire and everything like that. That is where it is, to restore pension and to reform it. I mean, what is so difficult and about that? Negotiations. There is no specific agreement as to what and how you need to negotiate to come to a common understanding and move forward.
Let's say this. There's a memorandum of understanding that was signed earlier this year in either February or March, somewhere there. The memorandum of understanding binds the government of Grenada to have a discussion and reform and reinstate pensions. So you're going to reinstate pensions for all public workers, and you're going to reform pension as well.
A lot of them leaving out the reform.
They're leaving out the reform part, but it's on the MOU. Because what you had happening is that certain leaders with their ego started speaking to their membership and saying that it was in the MOU. Until earlier this week, the MOU started to circulate and people see where everybody signed and they see that, no, this thing says reinstate and reform. Yeah? So reinstate as into, yes, we will give you back pensions and gratuities, and reform. But we're going to reform the way that it's being done.
Exactly.
It cannot be done in the way that it was done before. Yeah, that's part of the agreement. What is taking place and what has been taking place for the past few months has been that discussion between government and the unions. And one of the things the unions is saying is this. And listen to this carefully, because this is absolutely the truth. And you can test it, you can ask them for themselves. If a person enters the public service at the age of 18, Devon, and they leave, 26, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So they leave the public service. Let's not even say 44. Let's say they leave the public service at the age of 45. 45 is still young, isn't it?
Very young.
I'm not even 45 yet. I'm far from 45.
You're a little boy. Still.
Yeah, I'm still below that. I'm way below that. Let's say you enter the public service of Grenada at the age of 18. You start teaching, you left MCC, you start teaching, you get your appointment quickly, or you in some other department, you get your appointment. Now you've gotten your appointment, you spent your 26 and 2/3 within the public service, and you decide, that's it, I done with this thing. Now here's what, you qualify for a pension. You're going to get your pension when you get to the age of 60.
Yeah.
So you still have 15 years?
15 years to go.
15 years to wait before you can get that pension. Right? They are saying that they want a big gratuity for that person now, so that person doesn't have to work for that 15 years. So that person doesn't have to go out there and work, and so for that 15 years, that person at the age of 45 could just retire and relax.
At that productive age?
At 45.
Wow.
So they want that person to have a big gratuity then. So give the person the 25% so that if the person was working in the salary scale of about $5,000, etc., which we have people in the legal service, people who were hired by the Judicial and Legal Services Committee, You have people who may even be senior police officers. So a man might be a senior police officer, above inspector, superintendent or so, and he decide he's resigning from the post at the age of 45 now. And you know, at that level, what the gratuity payment is going to be, that person would have to get $250,000. Right? At that age, 45. $250,000 if it's at the 25%. And the union is saying basically they don't want that person to have to work until they start getting their monthly money again. But suppose the person leaves there and then they go and find other employment.
Who's to stop them from doing that?
And who is to say that 2% was the final offer? Because the unions ain't go back to the table.
They didn't. They walk
to
out.
Discuss. They walk out.
October 3rd.
They just say this is what we want and that is what we want.
And you walk out. You know, disrespecting those that you left there. You know, that is what it is, you know.
Because the gratuity offer could have been zero. It could have been zero, and legally there's nothing that the unions could do about it.
Like what NDC did you all.
Yeah, the gratuity offer could be zero. And there's nothing that they could have done about it. We have
Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning
to you.
Good morning, my
Mr.
dear.
Scott, good morning to you.
Morning.
I was listening to the program and listening to the teachers and them, and I'm telling you, the Bible is right when it said, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because we rejected knowledge. Each time, because I realize with our people, they like a lot of melee. They like to see the bacchanal going back and forth, and they do not understand one thing, what is going. If you don't understand something, ask somebody who knows. So because of that, we're making wrong decision. We're saying the wrong thing or we're making wrong decision because we don't know the ins and outs. And even if you go to them and they're trying to explain, they don't want to and they don't understand. Certain words they don't understand and they will not ask. So therefore, we are lacking of knowledge and we're destroying our own self. My people perish because of lack of knowledge. So I thank all you for all you explaining everything on the radio, and I'm listening and I'm trying to educate myself by what I heard concerning reforming, for the pension and restoration. I'm listening, and then I could be able to talk to someone. So I thank you very, very, very much. Continue your good work. You're very, very informative.
Okay, my dear.
Continue doing your good work to educate your own the nation people. Thanks very much. Bye-bye. Have a good weekend. Bye.
Same to you.
All right, Ms. Madison, take care.
We must mention here that when this discussion is being done, you must take into consideration not only pensions and gratuity. You must take in that issue that government has been putting on the front burner and continues to have on the front burner, the national health insurance.
Yeah.
So that if the person retired at 45 or resigned at 45, after making their 26 and 2/3, if that person retires then because they're not well, that is why you're trying to have in place the national health insurance. So that person wouldn't have to be dipping in the pocket to go and pay for anything. The national health insurance scheme would be paying for that. Yeah. So whether it's dialysis they have to do, whether it's glaucoma medication they have to get, or diabetes medication, or high blood pressure medication, whatever medications and so on that they have to get, and treatments, be it not elective surgeries, but absolutely necessary. When I say elective surgeries, like somebody decide the nose too flat and they want to straighten that, go and find your money and pay for it. Yeah, go and find your money and pay for it. Somebody find that the breast too small, they want bigger breasts, or the breast hanging down, they want it thing, plastic surgery and thing,
implants.
Go and find your money for that.
Yep.
But national health insurance will cover something like, for instance, somebody has prostate cancer, they need treatment, they need surgery. Somebody has to do some sort of surgery, whether locally, regionally, or internationally.
Diabetic,
Exactly. That the national health insurance would kick in. So you don't have to take a raffle sheet and go around. You don't have to go and get a set of people on a truck and go and do a motorcade around the island to try and see if you could raise some money to help someone. That the national health insurance would be able to cover that. Yeah? So that is why the national health insurance is being put in place. So that person who, after spending the required amount of time under law in order to receive a pension, who retires when they're still in their 40s, if that person has retired due to illness, national health insurance would be able to cover that person and help that person. Because some people might say, so okay, let's say they take the 2% and they come out at that point in time with just a 30-something, 40-something $1,000 to last them for 15 years. until they start getting their pension and that sort of thing. How do they survive if they have a medical condition? That is why the unions and the government has been in discussion about the national health insurance. That is why the national health insurance has been put in place. Go ahead, Devon.
You know what is significant also, and the workers, they are not paying attention to that, and the leaders of the union are not, well, educating them much more, letting them pay attention to these things. In the last 5 years, this government not only raised the salary of its public workers and teachers and whatever, but...
And they deserved it.
Of course, they deserve it, and more too, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so...
If we could have paid it, I'd get more.
Exactly. But what is significant, besides the money, let us look at all the other things, all the other benefits that government has restored, has given to its workers, besides monetary funds, besides the raise of pay, the 3% and 3% and 4%. Besides that, what about the continued education of our teachers and our public workers, the opportunity they have to do it? What about, some of the other benefits that was put within the packages that government gave to the workers? They are not saying anything about that. The unions, leaders in particular, are not stressing, right, on the membership about what government has done within the last 5 years. Things that they have not got in 15 and 20 years, right? And perhaps more than that. You need to take all these things into consideration, because remember, it comes from the coffers of government, taxpayers. Good morning and welcome.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning, my friend.
Good morning. Yeah, well, following up the whole saga with the teachers and gratuity and pension from last to this time, I'm still trying to wonder. I'm still trying to come to terms with the teacher when they said that they make the sacrifice for the 3 years and a half, which, the country was in a structural adjustment program. And they did that in order to make sure that the government didn't find itself in difficulties even to pay the salary when the month up, because they recognized the economy was in a state that it had also be rebuilt. So they said they make a sacrifice. But here it comes, soon after that sacrifice has been made. Whatever might have...
Hello?
They may perhaps be able to accumulate in the short time. You come asking for way over that. So it comes like the sacrifice was no sense, no use. You understand me, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sacrifice was, to me, was a hypocritical move. Because if you make that sacrifice because you know the state of the economy, and today you're turning back and asking for much more than you could have accumulated in the time, something must have been wrong. Have a good day, back.
All right.
Thank you, my friend.
And just remember something. When we speak about government coffers here, we're speaking about your money.
Your money, all of us money. We pay tax.
We're speaking about everybody that is listening to this program. We're speaking about your money. Once you're in the state of Grenada and you're spending money, even if you're a visitor, we're speaking about your money.
Your money.
Yeah.
And it's the school children money too, They pay VAT. They sacrifice and pay VAT.
So watch now. Let's feel them box of KFC do have VAT on it.
Come on.
Go and buy a kid's meal.
Go and back. So think about, so why are we treating our children, our school children who are not employed, right? But they still pay tax and they have to suffer, right? They have to suffer the wrath, right, of the leadership of the unions. Why? I can't understand why, right? You know why? Because, for the hell of it all, negotiations is there. Government did not shut the door. You walked out. You walked out of negotiations.
Just egotistical.
I can't understand that.
Because I can understand this. The government make an offer. The government say, okay, we agree to give you 70% of your last salary as your pension. So whatever your last salary was, 70% of that money, we will give you that, continue to give you that as your pension on retirement.
Retirement, yep.
If you want to retire early, that is not government thing. That is your problem if you want to retire early. If it's a medical issue, then that's why you're working on the National Health Insurance Scheme.
Exactly.
But if you want to leave the service early, that nothing to do with the government. That deal with you.
Yeah, that's a
But
preference.
you can't make the argument now that if the person leave early, they have to get their money to tide over till the 60. Good morning.
Good morning, Sheldon. Good morning, Devon.
Good morning, my friend.
You guys have a good topic there.
You ain't trembling in that cold now, brother?
Huh?
You ain't trembling in that cold I seen there?
It's snowing, man, but that's okay.
All right, bro.
Because Sheldon and Devon in Canada here, I don't understand. Grenada is a small island. I hear you talking about gratuity and all them things. That should be for a private company. When I look at it, the government going along that road is not easy. This prime minister just trying to see if he could help his people before he leave office. But look at Canada. I hope you could go on the internet and look at the law in Canada. In Quebec here, Sheldon, you have to reach 60 years. When you're 60 years, they call it an early pension, but yet there's a penalty. You could take it, but you're getting a penalty. You're losing almost 40% of your pension, because your pension will be at 65. But in Quebec here, at 60, you could take it. Right? And I think Grenada should have the same type of policy. You retire, you want 45, you want a pension, but there is a penalty. You either accept it or you wait till you reach 60 to get your pension. Because that's how it is outside. The federal government is different. It was 65 at my age, but the later generation will be at 67.
Wow.
Anything after 1958.
Wow.
So that's the way it goes. But I don't understand a small island as Grenada. And the guys who say they have brain and smart and educated, you understand what I mean? Stay silent from 2008 to 2013, right? They didn't make no noise about it. They didn't make no noise when the revolution got to the other side of it and say, well, Brother Chester Humphrey, Bernard Code and others, they come to that decision to go to the NIS and change everything. Everybody stay quiet. But Dr. Mitchell, right, with the advice of others, say, no, that ain't right. Everybody need a little thing. Not only a little portion or this or that, but everybody need a little thing to shove in the pocket. And Sheldon, you know how we go in the islands.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I mean? And everybody say, they smile about that. And now, you know, union is coming now and tell you they hold you hostage. You know, they will hold the children hostage. You know, if you don't give them what they want 25%. 25% of what?
Give them something that they never had.
They never had. Devon, you know, in the revolution, we make decision, understand, nobody oppose it.
Nope.
If you oppose it, you know where you're going.
That was back then.
That's back then to hell and back. For now, we say we have freedom.
Democracy.
And we could speak to each other. Say it's a democratic system. And then now you turn around and trying to hold the government hostage and making threat in a diplomatic way.
That is so unfair.
You ain't settling for nothing less than 25%.
Yeah. No compromise.
Give us a break here. This thing won't go done that simple. Eh? Remember that. Let it continue going on that road. Anyhow, guys, are listening.
All right,
brother.
And good morning to my speakers in Dabo.
All right. Yeah.
All right.
And we have to understand that government, the leaders, elected leaders, cabinet, right? Parliamentarians has a responsibility to its people. They were put there, right, to oversee the affairs of the Grenadian people, to make decisions that will benefit not just one set, but the entire nation. I mean, it will be so bad that if politicians decide to go down a road which they know next 2 or 3 years, the country will be in serious problem. I don't think we have that sort of irresponsible politicians around. We have politicians who have sat down, come up with a plan, led by Dr. Mitchell, came up with a plan to revive, right? To restructure Grenada's economy and to put it back on a fruitful path. That is what we want to continue with. So I'm begging leaders of the union, think about it. Think hard and serious about the decisions that you make that will affect the country and our children.
So I'm hearing now it's more likely that Tuesday would be the action. I haven't heard anything for Monday. So it seems as though there may be some action by the union on Tuesday. As to what and where, that is for them to announce. Go and get your own radio program and do the thing. I ain't announcing nothing for all you. Go and announce for all yourself. But Monday seems to be okay. So Monday's throne speech anyway. Yeah. We have a caller online.
Good morning and welcome.
Yeah, good morning, boss.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm just getting to learn that the pension was changed under the revolution, right?
Yes.
But what did the leaders who came after the revolution and the trade union leaders, what did they do? Why they didn't fix this thing long before? I mean, if you care about the people, I feel they should have fixed this thing long before, because remember, the revolution wasn't a legitimate government. They did something wrong. I really think the politicians and the trade union leaders especially should have changed something long before that now. So I would blame the trade union leaders and some of the politicians for what we're in today. Thank you very much.
All right, my friend. Thanks for your contribution.
440-7377. And folks, answer.
347-329-3101.
Answer this for me. Does this song, and to my good friends who are online there, my good friends and partner, I have a trade unionist partner who usually comes on and he listens to what's going on in Grenada and so on. And bro, you don't even have to message me on the chat. I know you're there. Message me privately and tell me if this songs as a wicked government to you, and if the leader of this government songs as a wicked man to you. According to the law of Grenada, the Teachers Pension Act, the Prison Pension Act, the Pension Disqualification Act of 1983, teachers are due no state pension, and no gratuity unless they entered the teaching service prior, not only entered but were confirmed into that position, because it could be there and not confirmed in a position, that they were confirmed in the position prior to April 4th, 1983, sorry. Yeah? Now, a lady brought a case because the act that was passed in 1984 was not properly gazetted, etc., until 22nd of February 1985. A woman in the state of Grenada brought the state to court and said that you cannot treat me as other people for after the year 1984. So she's acknowledging that as of April 4th, 1984, all civil servants are disqualified. She's acknowledging that. But she's also saying that since the act was gazetted in February, it means that the act, which is legal, was not in place before she was confirmed in the service. She won that case.
Yeah, the court agreed with her.
Along with 55 other people, 56 people in total were the ones who were benefiting from that case. The government, therefore, was under no legal obligation to pay a single civil servant, be they Lloyd and Lewis or Brian Grimes, be they Rachel Roberts, or whoever. The government of Grenada was under absolutely zero obligation to pay any of them a single cent. Right? And the same people who are now calling that government wicked and the leader of that government wicked were told by that leader, listen, this thing is immoral. On simple moral grounds, let us put that law aside. My government is willing to put those laws that disqualify you aside and qualify you. And make sure that outside of the NIS pension that you're getting, a contributory that you're paying to, that the state of Grenada is going to top you up. We're going to give you back a gratuity, which you don't have even under the NIS. You don't have a gratuity. We're going to give you a gratuity. And we're going to give you a pension as well that you're not getting right now. So we're willing to do these things for you. Does that song has a wicked government?
Yeah. What part of that have wicked in it?
Unless wicked have a different description again. Unless the meaning of wicked has changed. does it song as an evil government, a wicked set of people that says to these workers and them, we see you going home in poverty. And we don't want you going home in poverty. And we want to make sure that at the end of the month you could at least meet your basic bills. But on top of that, we are putting a system in place that not only you, the public workers, but each and every Grenadian would be able to have proper health care delivered to them through a national health insurance program. So the person who is diagnosed with early onset form of cancer can go and receive cancer treatment immediately and not have to hold fundraising and have people walking around town with pan trying to collect $1 here, 50 cents there, $5 there. Or on big music truck passing around with a certain noise trying to collect money because your child is dying with cancer or has a brain tumor or so on, or what again?
In Wagiti Bingo.
In Wagiti Bingo.
And which is, it's a good gesture in helping people, but...
No one is saying it's wrong.
Yeah, we need
but we're saying, let's do better than that.
Yes, we can do better than that. And the government has started to put things in place to make it better.
Yeah. So that is what... Does that song as a wicked group of people?
And an evil government?
Because here's what government could have do. Here, if this government was a wicked government, here's what this government could have do. As soon as the Hermelin Armstrong case is finished, the Cabinet of Grenada, through the Attorney General's chambers, could have appealed the case to the
Privy Council.
Right. Well, first of all, they'd have had to go to the OECS Appeals Court. And when it goes to the OECS Appeals Court, sometime this month or a year or two from now, you might have had a ruling come down from that court. And then when that ruling comes down, if the ruling did not come in favor of government could have appealed it then to the Privy Council. And then sometime a couple of years from now, you might have a judgment come back from the Privy Council. How long Lane thing was there? A couple of years now, innit?
3-4 years.
Right.
Yeah.
That's Lane issue that he's
fighting.
And he still didn't get a judgment yet.
Get judgment as yet.
Right. So this case could have been sitting at the Privy Council. Meanwhile, people who work and suffer, who deserve a pension and deserve a gratuity, would have continued dying, as some of them are right now, because union leaders sit down twiddling their thumbs and playing with the ego, while workers should have already been in a situation
getting the benefits.
If they had stopped this stupidness since earlier in the thing in October and sorted it out, calculations could have been taken place. Some people might have get the money as Christmas.
Christmas would have been nice.
Some of these elder people that sit down home would have started getting the money since Christmas. They would have be getting it. And others would have started getting it in the early part of next year.
That is a beautiful
thing. Until you have a full rollout by the middle of next year, everybody would have be getting the money.
That is a beautiful thing about negotiations.
No, they're putting it back and back and back and back. Because if this nonsense continues, it's nonsense. Yeah. Because I can't understand. If it's a wicked government, they would have walked away from the table and said they're not willing to negotiate. They would have walked away from the table and say, we don't want to hear from you. As far as we're concerned, dies where is there. But they said, look, this is our offer. And we're taking different things into consideration. The fact that every time public workers get a raise, like they're going to get a raise next year, I know about you all in the private sector, but the public workers going to get a raise next year, that when they get their raise,
4%,
that the pensioners going to be getting that raise too.
Of course.
So whatever the gratuity was, the gratuity going to continue to change up until when some of these people retire. It's going to continue to change. We have a caller.
Good morning and welcome. Good morning.
Good morning to you all, gentlemen.
Yes. Good morning.
And good morning to your listening audience. Mr. Scott, this is the record of the good government that they're talking about. This is the record of the good government. An economy in reverse. Creditworthiness negative. Unemployment 40%. 70 cents on every dollar that we earn we have no access to. Over $140 million of unpaid claim in the Treasury. A monthly deficit of $18 million. Youth unemployment 60%. No gratuities for teachers. No pension. $10 million owed to NAWASA. $0 for scholarship. This is the good government they're talking about. Now listen to this, gentlemen. Mr. Scott, I doesn't hide because people who are listening, I know he's smart and intelligent people. Politically speaking, I come with a political bias towards the NNP, but not one that is blind. Now, listen, the only government that have taken on this hot potato of pension reform and pension restoration and gratuity is the NNP. This government, this bad government, this is the government, this government have made over 300 teachers permanent. That is what the good government could not have done. This government paid out over $110 million in benefits to public servants. Now, what is this government is saying? Yes, teachers need to get something, but the government cannot afford what the union is asking for. This is the government that gives over $40 million for our people to upgrade themselves in the form of scholarship. Mr. Scott, this government, all what they are saying is that, bottom line, we cannot afford what you're asking for presently. And I wrap up by saying this here. We cannot sacrifice the sacrifices that we have made over the 5 years plus for one group of people. Because if we do that, then it means that the rest of us, the rest of people that make the necessary sacrifice in order for us to be enjoying the kind of economic and financial climate and reward that we are getting today, they wouldn't get anything. All as a result of one group of people asking for too much. Yes, Mr. Scott, I know the role that teachers played in my life, because for a lot of children out there, the upward mobility is directly between them and the teachers. Because sometimes most of us, we grow up where our parents was not in a position to assist us academically in any way. They was in a position to provide us with the basic necessities for us to go to school and a meal and things like that. So I know the importance of teachers. I am on the teacher's side. All I'm saying is that, what you're asking for is unreasonable based on where we are today. And teachers, you all have been part of the agreement not to ask for certain things because you all know where we was economically and financially under the former administration. We could not have asked for anything. Today, you have a government that is trying to wrong the right, that is trying to right the wrong, and trying to ensure that everybody gets something reasonable at the end of the day. And this is the government. You understand that you want to be confrontative with. It's unfair. So yes, teachers, you have to get something. What we are saying is that you are asking for, it's not what we can afford. And and as members of your union, if your union is speaking on your behalf with the kind of confrontational attitude, it is not a good one. And from my individual standpoint, it is not representative of the teachers that I know. Gentlemen, you all have a pleasant weekend.
All right, same to you. Take care. Yes, indeed. 440-7377.
And 347-329-3101.
We have roughly 9 minutes remaining on today's program. Yes, 9 minutes remaining on today's program. Folks, remember, on Monday, you will not be hearing hard talk, but you will be getting, and that's good too, because Devon will get a day to rest that arm of his. You will be having, though, no, not the post-cabinet press briefing, you'll be having the throne speech. So we'll be broadcasting that on Monday. I'm hoping to have to go and dust out the suit and see if it's still fitting and them kind of thing. They pull a tie and see if I could get a tie to go on and thing. I know them tie and them just feel like thing no boy. Hard to put on. Yeah, but we will be having the throne speech, God's willing, on Monday. We have an overseas call. Let me just make sure. Yeah.
Good morning and welcome. Hello. Hello and good morning.
Oh boy, we seem to have lost it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that person will call back if it's anything. 440-7377.
347-329-3101.
Yeah, folks, and pass down and check Cammy, yeah?
Yeah.
Pass down and check Cammy.
Although she was late this morning, but
yeah, Dali's been signed in since early this morning.
Yeah.
Says she don't know when she's you.
Oh.
Dali. Yeah, you have to make a pass on your update.
I will make a pass.
Make a pass. You have to represent both of us.
Definitely, I will.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's go back to the phone line.
Good morning and welcome. Good morning.
Good morning, Sheldon Scott and Comrade Devon. Good morning.
Good morning,
morning, sir.
All right. Let me say hello to Miss Kami also.
Yeah.
Nice, beautiful.
My brethren, I think I might be a little illiterate, you know. I want you to explain to me, in the memorandum of understanding between the unions, I have to say, and government, I thought the agreement said the parties will sit together and discuss the restoration and reform of pension in Grenada.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what the memorandum said?
Correct, sir.
Now, if such is the case, at this present moment, is there any law after the 1983 law that stated that the civil servant entitled to pension?
No.
No.
Nope.
Zero. Not in the state of Grenada. No.
Zero.
Yeah.
So therefore, what it is that particular trade union causing industrial action for? I'm trying to understand what is the industrial action for.
You know a thing called ego? We all suffer from it from time to time. But you know there's a thing called ego, eh? Yeah.
Oh, so that's what it is. It's an egoistic problem.
Yeah. When you think that you're so self-importance, when you believe that you're so big that the government and the country must do as you want, and you forget that it's the country that paying the bill that you have to that they're talking about. When they forget, the union leadership forgets that it is Sheldon Scott and Devon Romain, Nazim Benjamin, that it is people like the Camille Teresa Scott and even the Miss Irma Jacob and the bus drivers like the Fluffy and the Ram Ram and all of these people, the Desmond, yeah, the all of the bus drivers. That is the children, our children, that have to pay this bill and the continual bill from month to month. It is not Dr. Mitchell and the 15 members in cabinet. It's us.
Exactly.
We are the ones that have to pay the additional taxes. Because if government decides we could raise the money, put additional $2 on every gallon of gas.
Yep.
And they could raise some of the money. They're going to raise it.
Yeah,
but it's we who are going to feel the pain.
Exactly. But in the memorandum also stated, if I'm not mistaken, if the cash flow allow, they will do such a thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Didn't I read that in the memorandum?
Definitely,
yeah.
you did.
I kind of illiterate, I don't understand this. I kind of illiterate. So I'm just trying you guys to explain to me if that is written in the memorandum.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it says this is based on discussion.
What is the problem?
Well, apparently some of them don't have the patience to negotiate and to negotiate. They like to walk out. A lot of them like to walk out,
That's the fundamental right, yeah?
Yeah, it is.
But they have to understand that government have the rights to do what is the will of the people and not for individuals. You see, in my situation now, if it's not the attitude they want and they want to have, what government should do, okay, you want to walk out, fine. The people who decide to walk out, the civil servants who decide to walk out, at this point in time, do we have Imani still running?
Well, the Imani program had a graduation just yesterday and it's still in operation.
Well, then the government could take the drastic measure and just replace them with the Imanis. It's simple as that, you know.
Well, my brother, it's one way or the other.
That's the government rights.
Well, it's one way or the other because if they are to get that 25%, you will have to send home every one of those Imani because that's how you will get the couple millions of dollars to be able to pay the teachers. You will have to.
Yeah.
You won't have an option. You will have to. And it's not just an idle threat. It is what you will have to do. You will have to send home all of the Imani. Everyone.
Well, before we send home the Imanis, those who decide they don't want to work, we're going to lay them off. We're going to retrain them, send them home. We're going to lay you off, and then in the backfield, we're going to fill the position with the Imanis. It's as simple as that, you know. Because that behavior is ridiculous. I just cannot understand. By the way, in the 2008, how many raises did the union get for the employees?
In the?
Zero.
During the 2008, in the time of the NDC government.
Zero.
What kind of percentage did they get for the past 4 years?
0 minus 0 and 0.
Until December.
Zero.
Until December of 2012, when the unions went on the negotiating table and a certain man realized that, hey, the ship going down, let me see how I could save myself. They negotiated and gave them some monies in retroactively. Yeah. They negotiated to give them and left that for the new National Party to have to find the money to pay.
For the other government to pay.
Because they knew they were looking at the figures, the same figures the NNP was looking at, and they knew they weren't going to win. So they thought that would be able to create industrial discomfort for the new administration, enough so that it may have caused the new administration to lose the election after. But it didn't work out that way. The NNP was able to pay it.
Yep, backfire.
The NNP was able to pay it and more.
And still paying.
And let me ask this question again. Why do they always choose in the height of tourism to do such a thing? I noticed for the past couple of years, their behavior always occur during the time of tourism.
Well, my brother,
then I have to ask myself, do they really love Grenada? Or they, I just say again, I wish it's an egoistic problem they have, so therefore they have to do it at that time, so they self could show.
But and not only that, you know, if they are sensible in the negotiation and tactics, they will understand that during the peak of the tourism season and other major activities, that is where government gets a lot of its revenue. So if you basically stifle government from getting these revenues, how would government be able to pay the extra money that you're asking for? I mean,
that's my whole point. I could see this union and they are not progressive. They are not a progressive set of union leaders.
Whether it's Uncle Gary
and
or
they need
Maurice
to check
Bishop.
themselves.
Yeah, well.
Whether it's Uncle Gary or Maurice Bishop, they always speak of enemies of progress.
Yeah. Eventually, the children of the nation will take them to task, especially the union leaders.
Trust me, they will take them to task.
Yeah.
Because I remember during 1980, during the revolution, when I was in the trade union with Comrade Vincent Noel.
Oh, yeah.
And Brother Vincent Noel, may so rest in peace, used to teach us when you should take action and when you should not take action. I can remember those days. And some of these brothers and them saying they were part of the revolution. They should learn. They should learn from these times when we should do certain things and when we should not. My brothers, you all have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you all sometime soon.
All right,
my friend.
Okay?
Thank you very
All right,
much. All right, take care.
Yes, folks.
And I have to say, in one of my close departing words, the children of our nation will not judge the leaders of the union nice in time to come.
And the thing is this, you have some teachers who are attempting to push into the minds of the young people that the government is trying to take away their 25% from them. And teachers, one of the things that you ought to be teaching the young ones is not to lie.
Yeah.
Please.
First and foremost.
I have many friends in the teaching profession, as I have many friends even in the NDC. And one thing everyone will say is that if I have to tell you that, I'm going to tell you that. If I have to tell you something, if I find it isn't worth saying something, I won't keep my mouth shut. But I'm going to say it as it is. Don't lie for the children, because you know it's not true.
Yeah.
Many of you have been misled, because I saw many of my friends there throwing up all kind of information that was false. One that was putting up, oh, it's unconstitutional to give 25%. They didn't even read the Constitution, because it's nowhere there. Then they say, well, the law says, but which law? Because the 1958 law isn't applicable to you.
It's cancelled.
So that's not you. And the law that you are quoting from the Teachers Act, it says in the final part that you're disqualified, because that law is only in place for teachers within the service prior to 1983, 4th of April. So which law? Then they said it's in the agreement, the memorandum of understanding, but the 25% is not there. So how could government be taking away 25% from zero? Because you have nothing there to get as it is right now.
Yeah. So why would government take away 25% out of thin air? Nothing, breeze.
It's not there. Even the document that Comrade Sister Rachel Roberts put forward.
I love that, Comrade Sister
Yeah,
Rachel.
Comrade Sister Rachel Roberts. Even the document that she put forward, that document says clearly that the 25% would only be upon discussion with the Ministry of Finance.
And why the Ministry of Finance? To understand the fiscal situation of our country, whether or not the country can afford it.
Yeah, let's take this final call and then we'll call it a day for today.
Good morning and welcome.
Sheldon, good morning, and Devon, good morning.
Morning,
And I want to say good morning to that Mr. that last Mr. that called from England. Well, he speak a book. And Martin said good morning. He was here with me.
All right, Martin.
Right?
Hey, Martin, good morning.
Speak a book. Put the money to work if they don't want to work. And I agree with him. Of course, yes. You know? Martin say good morning, Mr. Scott.
Morning,
and Miss B say good morning.
All right.
And good morning to everybody out there in England, America, Canada, England. Good morning to everybody. Yes.
All right, darling. You have a wonderful weekend, Cammy.
That man hit the nail on the head. Yes.
All right,
my dear.
And have a good weekend.
Same to you, my dear.
everybody.
All right, darling.
I'm kind of busy today.
Okay, I had to pass by to collect something, eh? They drop it for me?
That's right.
All right, okay. All right, my dear.
All right.
I mean, they drop it. Good, nice. Yeah, I'm telling you. Folks, there are these people that are going around and saying that the government is unreasonable and the government is wicked. Having heard what you heard, knowing what you know, and nothing that myself and Devon have said on this program, the documents we've quoted from, they're all available online. Yeah? If you go to laws.gov.gd, you can find the laws of Grenada. You can find the Pension Act, the Pension Disqualification Act. The Pension Act of 1958 is, when I say the Pension Act, that's what I'm referring to. The Pension Disqualification Act of 1983, the Teachers Act, the Prison Service Pensions Act, you can find them there. Police Act, you can find them there. So nothing that we said here, you won't have access to. We also, if you go online and you do a Google search for the Constitution of Grenada, you can get a copy of it there. The Memorandum of Understanding we've shared via the Hard Talk page, and we will share again, along with direct links to everything else that we've been speaking about. We have been speaking from a point of knowing what we're speaking about and being honest about the situation. And we say to the unions, the time is here to return to the bargaining table. You're holding an inflexible position. That is where you want, and that is where you want, and you're not settling for anything else. But I do not believe the government should allow the 80-something thousand of us that have no pension and gratuity to get We're at 0 and 0, and we're not even having a discussion right now on that.
Not even a zero discussion we're having.
We're on 0 and 0. We could only get NIS pension.
Some of us.
If we make the requisite amount of work days.
500 contributions.
Yeah. And that's all that we can get. We have no gratuity to get and so on. And we, the majority, and our children should not be held to ransom by the 5,000-6,000 of you. We should not be held to ransom by you all.
Unacceptable.
Yeah? So you want to hold us in our throat to pay you money that we have to go and find? Yeah. You think it's Dr. Mitchell had to go and find the money?
We have to find it.
When I had to go and fill my tank, I had to pay $300 because the price raised again.
And when the busman had to buy tires and anything, and then he raised the price, then you quarreling now because the busman raised the price right of their fare, and so because of you getting something that the government cannot afford.
And if that happens, you're not siding with the busmen.
Of course.
I'm siding with the busmen.
How can you not?
Telling you, record that, keep that. I'm siding with the busmen. Yeah. If that 25% cost, the price of taking the bus have to raise from $2.50 to $3.50, I'm siding with the busmen.
Yeah. Because you know the busmen sacrifice a lot too. They all sacrifice. And so it's fair for everybody. Let us try to get something that we can't please everybody, but we can satisfy a majority of our people. That is what we want to do.
At the end of the day, remember, public workers, remember that you're providing a service to the people of Grenada, but that you're not living on Mars and come to Grenada every day to come and work. You live in Grenada too. You are Grenadian.
Yep.
So you also have a responsibility. You have more of a responsibility to the state of Grenada and Grenada than you have to any union. Unions come, unions go. Union leaders come and union leaders. When the time comes, every one of them goes. Nobody is here forever, but the state of Grenada is here. And the same way we come and meet it, the same way all of us go have to leave it. And as such, we must all endeavor to leave it a little better for those that come in afterwards.
If we so choose that we love our children, we have to leave it better.
So we cannot do things to endanger that you have children who ought to have been in class gaining an education and with the bikini on the beach relaxing right now when the parents feel they're home, or lock up inside a house somewhere doing something that they shouldn't be doing. That sort of thing. Yeah? Think about the children, because each one of them you're watching the class, just remember, when you're speaking 25%, it's their parents that have to find it to pay it, not Dr. Mitchell. Right? Yep. That's all we have for Hard Talk for today and for this week. Remember, throne speech, opening of Parliament on Monday. So we will be broadcasting that via all of the normal means. You will be seeing it via the Hard Talk Network and so God's willing. So that will be taking place on Monday. So you may not be seeing two of us in studio until Tuesday. All right? But keep in contact with us via the Hard Talk Facebook page. We will be giving you more and more information. Hopefully by that time, a voice back.
Yeah, hopefully. Mm-hmm. Hopefully my hand may not be in sling.
His hand will still be in sling. Next thing you see the next hand in sling when he come. Folks, that's all the time we have for today. And whatever you say and do it safe and secure. We want to be speaking to and with you.
And not about you.
We are out of here.
A random individual or
the Ministry of Youth Development, Sports, Culture and the Arts present Youth Week 2018, empowering our youth, shaping our community, protecting our future. The week of activities kicks off on Friday, November 9th with the Minister's Address from 8 p.m. Saturday, 10th November, Health Fair, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Cuthbert Peters Park War, and the Fitness Revolution, 3 p.m. Concord Junction. Sunday, 11th November, it's the Peace Concert, Grenville Brush Terminal. On Tuesday, 13th November, ministers meet with the youth at Her Majesty's Prison. Thursday, 15th November, from 5 p.m., it's the Imani Graduation, Youth Awards and Gala. And on Friday, 16th through the weekend, it's the National Youth Service Weekend. Every parish get involved. And on Saturday, 17th November, it's Youth Expo, Explosion Fashion and Cultural Day, 2 p.m. until at Hero Square, Victoria in St. Mark. So remember, Youth Week 2018, November 9th to the 17th. Stay up to date with all that's happening with the new National Party, NNP. Send us a message via text or WhatsApp on 405-8683 with your name, email, and constituency. Stay in the know with NNP. Get updated.